we're back on the 85Z28. We're getting all of the body details done. We have the tail lights in, headlights in, and now we're working on the front turn signals. Now, I'm just going to show you how I'm putting lenses in the front turn signals. As you can see, there is a clear lens over it, which also provides the amber color because, coincidentally, the Bondic that I use does have sort of an amber, sort of yellowish tint, which kind of works out great for turn signals. Now, this is a adhesive that cures with ultraviolet light. So basically and it dries crystal clear. So after putting a silver backing on, using my Gundam marker, masking it off with some Tamiya tape, I'm now going to fill the cavity of the light with the Bondic, and then use the UV light to cure it so that we have a nice hard lens just like what's in this one. Now the Bondic gives you plenty of time to work with it as you're applying it, and I like to make sure that it fills every crevice, has pretty good self-leveling properties so that it levels out after a while. So I like to let it sit for a minute or two while I'm using it, let it level out before I hit it with the UV light. And the toothpick can help to move it around to fill any areas that may need a little bit of extra, because it is like a heavy gel and it won't really move on its own, even though it starts to slowly level out on its own. So you want to give it a little time to level before hitting it with the UV light. Okay, I think we're good here. So now we're going to hit it with the UV light, have it cure itself, and we'll have a nice hard lens over the marker light. And that should be quite enough, and I think we are done. And there we go, guys. Now we have lenses over our marker lights. It's really that simple. Stuff works great also on instrument cluster gauges. As I've shown on one of the previous episodes of this build, there's a few of them, so if you guys want to go back and look at them, there's quite a bit to see there. Now the headlights, have you noticed the reflective backing? What I like to use for that is Hasegawa mirror finish. Works really good for backing tail lights. It's sort of a vinyl, not a bare metal foil, like bare metal foils. Not a foil, it's a vinyl. I used it to back up the tail lights so you can see how reflective they are. And the headlights worked really well. And now in hindsight, I probably should have used them on these marker lights. Give it a little more reflectivity, but I guess this is going to have to be good enough. Now for the tail lights, I used Tamiya Clear Red, Clear Orange, and Tamiya Semi-Gloss Black on the back of the tail lights, and then Semi-Gloss Black for all of the grid lines on the tail lights. Now the reverse light is nothing more than just that section of the taillight left clear and the Hasegawa mirror finish reflecting behind it. So there's quite a bit of detail to add to this body. The wipers, not sure what I'm going to do about that. I really wanted to put wipers on it, but they're molded into the glass, which I am not happy about, but that is what it is. Okay guys, now we're going to start going into assembly. Alright guys, now this is how I handle making a headliner. Did the same thing on the Pontiac, but in case you missed it, we'll just go over it real quick here. What I like to do is when you have these kits with the windshields, the front and the rear are connected by the two center supports here, which is going to leave these two plastic ridges running out on your roof here. What I like to do is take styrene sheet and make small inserts to fill these up. And then what I'm going to do is lay a piece of Tamiya tape over it to make my headliner. And then after that, we add some embossing powder to give us the, rat fur-like material of the old GM headliners, which should come out looking pretty good. Alright guys, now here we have our finished headliner made out of the Tamiya tape. And once I laid the tape over the inserts that I made, the inserts are now attached to the tape, so now I have a headliner that I can just remove and install into the vehicle after all the painting and detailing is done to it. So we're going to continue with that, and then we'll be back with our finished headliner. Okay guys, well here we have the headliner. I had a few issues with it, as one side didn't come out as good as the other, but when the car's put together and sitting down, you won't even notice that, as it's part of my little reinforcement there to even out the those window rails, or didn't work out exactly the way I had hoped. I am rushing a little bit because I'm trying to get this car finished for the show tomorrow. So, yeah, had a couple of issues there, but not too noticeable once the car is all together. As you can see, I also made some sun visors for it, a dome light. Those were just made from styrene sheets, which you just cut and paint to size. And we are pretty much done with the interior details for the roof of this car. I would like to have done more, but again, I'm just running out of time, so it's time for final assembly. Okay guys, we're in the middle of final assembly of the Camaro, and just wanted to run something past you guys. If you're building this kit, this air cleaner, the mounting peg on it is way too long, because it sits way too high and it will never clear the hood at this height, so you're gonna have to shorten it. Okay, so now I just snipped off part of the mounting peg, snip off about half of it, and the air cleaner sits at the perfect height that allows you to completely close the hood. One little snag in this kit, one of very few other snags. Other than that, this kit's going together really, really well.